How's it going, everyone? It's Alex with AC Flips. We have another video in the series, Would You Buy This? Joined by a special guest, Billflipper. This is actually the second time Bill's been on the channel. So, Bill, welcome to the video.
Hey, thank you very much for having me, and let's go through some products, and hopefully we'll find some profitable ones and help people out figure out what what the parameters are.
Definitely. So some of the viewers that already know this series, we're going to be breaking down some products, and I'll put some screenshots of the Keepa and Seller Amp data, and the viewers will be able to analyze that data and kind of play along with us while we break down the product analysis for you guys. So let's jump into that first product. All right, so the first product we have is a Nike backpack. Pause the video, analyze the data, and determine if you would buy this for inventory in your Amazon business. So for this first product here, we have the Nike Just Do It mini backpack. First thing I'm noticing, 96K rank, 245 estimated sales. At the $13 buy cost, we're making almost $4 and about 30% ROI. First thing I noticed, it's not a variation listing. For a Nike product, that's pretty solid here. So all these sales are going to go to this one product. Let's look at the Keepa chart here. I'm also noticing no buy box. We got to keep that in mind here. Looking at the Keepa chart, we can see that price is fairly consistent over the last 3 months. It's kind of sitting around that $33, $35. We actually are on a little bit of a down slope to that $30, and we can see that the sales rank has increased ever since the buy box went away, a couple months ago. So if we remove the sellers, we can kind of see that decrease in our buy box price here. And if we go back a year, we can kind of see some of those swings in offer count.
One thing I'll also point out is with some of these backpacks, you want to check reviews because some of them are mini. And I've noticed if you go through the reviews, it's parents saying, hey, this backpack's this big. I bought it for my teenager and I didn't see that coming. That Nike does make a lot of backpacks, and some they make them basically for kindergartners, and people don't see the sizes. They don't read the measurements. I've noticed that. I've had to deal with that myself.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great point. And like we said, we can see that we're only at a $4 profit, 30% ROI. Something like this is going to get returned. It's whether it's because it's not the right size they expected, or just clothing items seem to have a little bit higher return rate than some other categories. Sure. So we take that into account, and that $4 might get dwindle away pretty quickly. Again, we do have almost 45 other sellers on the listing. So if we did want to look into the data a little bit further, we can see that that price is getting below $31. Kind of at the lowest it's been over the last 3 months. So we're not sure, if that offer count stays high, are we going to see the offer counts go down? Because when there's no buy box, really it's that lowest price that's going to get the sale most of the time. So we could see people getting impatient and lowering their prices even further. So that $4 could get even shorter. But what we can see, there is quite a bit of stock, all of people that are priced fairly competitively here. So again, we might be sharing those sales with a good amount of sellers unless we're willing to price it pretty low here. So for me, this might be a product I would hold off on, only because the profits are a little bit low. Like we mentioned, the return rate might be a little bit higher on something like this. And you really want to understand, if you do get if you buy 10 of these and say 2 of them get returned, does that completely wipe out your profits? And if it does, then it's kind of you spent all this money on a product that didn't make you any money. So really want to make sure you understand that before buying something like this, even if the numbers slightly make sense.
It's my turn here, and the next product is a pillowcase. Not a product I've sold a lot of, but I definitely want to go in and kind of check this out. It looks pretty profitable. So we'll see if it holds up to inspection. So we're on a slip pillowcase. When I look at this, the first thing that jumps out to me is one, it has a great, the buy cost is great, has great sales velocity. Some of these items, when I first look at, I always like to make sure they're not private label. And especially a product I haven't sold before and things like this. But we're seeing here, there's no big drop. So I want to confirm that first. I'm not seeing anything that really points out that it's private label. Seller counts go up, seller counts go down. And we'll go back to the 3 months. We see Amazon does jump on the listing, and it's actually, they jump at a price that's profitable. So that's fine with me too. We were not seeing any big slopes like anyone's finding this product or any real issue there. We can see it's a variation listing. So we're going to check out and make sure this variation, and then we'll go to the Seller Amp data here. But My first concern was there was a private label. So again, and Amazon. So if I'm going to jump on a listing with Amazon, I want to find out they're on probably at least 50% less. So they're not on it full time. And if they are on full time, I need to really figure out are they sharing the buy box. So we're going to go here. We'll check white. I'm assuming white is probably one of the highest variations. Yeah, it's the number one variation. So a quarter of all these sales, we're going to make a guesstimate. A quarter of all these sales are actually going to the white one. All right. And we're at $15 profit, which is beautiful. 30% ROI. I mean, I'm definitely grabbing this one. How many would I buy? So we'd have to split 13 sellers. I mean, for me, this is one you could almost buy as much as within reason. You know what I mean? I mean, you could, a quarter of 1,500. You could buy 50, 100 of these. You would be against 13 sellers. Yeah, everyone is competitive. So if we're splitting like 250, I would count the ones at about 89 a little less competitive. I usually count what is competitive within about 10%, 5% of the buy box. I would say everyone is within there. So I don't know. What are you thinking? How many would you get? About 50?
Yeah. This is one that you could probably go pretty deep on, but I was going to ask, let's say you did Google this product, right, to try to find it profitably. You found it at that 54, but it was the very first search in Google, kind of on a website, let's say like a Bed Bath & Beyond or somewhere that sells or that's pretty easy to find. Would that change your buying mindset of how many you might want to go in on as your first test buy? If
it's easy to buy, I'm still going pretty deep. I'm going at least 18 to 24. I'm pushing some chips in on this. I think because when I do, one thing I'll point out to especially the new sellers, if you know anything about Inventory Lab, you can either do 1 to 7 or they won't split shipments at 18. So a lot of my orders are within 12 to 24 because the product looks great. I'm not seeing a jump. And if it's easy to find, I'm thinking I may also be able to get in before other people find it. And if you are in any time before other people find this, your 50, your 24 are gone. They're going to be gone on this item quick. Probably they're going to be shipped to the fulfillment centers. They're gone. So that is also, if you saw a much elevated, like all people, like you were, much farther behind people who found it, then I'm concerned about going deeper. But the fact that, this is just a regular, keep a chart. People are going up, people are going down. We're not seeing a huge jump. I'm at least going 24, but I might go a little deeper. You know what I mean? I would at least get the 18, so I'm not going to be shipped. If you see elevated count, just ship it from your house. This has got to be really cheap to ship. You know what I mean? So if you get them and you get, now this is, again, I'm not using this prep center basically for much, if anything, unless there's some tax issues. So I'm a little bit, for other sellers dealing with prep centers, there is a much bigger delay, but I'm much more, one plus about not having a prep center, now it's much more work, is I'm much more nimble. You know what I mean? I have a little bit quicker movement. If I see something where it's like, oh man, I'm at the back slope of this, I can jump on merchant fulfill. I mean, I really like the product. I'm at least doing 24. How many are you thinking?
Yeah, this is probably a product only just based on when you went back to that year chart. We really didn't see any major spikes on this product in the offer count. So yeah, even if it is, an easier product to find, it just hasn't been hit by a ton of sellers. So like the odds of them all catching it at the same time you do are probably pretty slim. So it seems like based on the offer count, we're kind of early if there is a sale going on for this product. So we should be able to go deep. Again, if you don't send it to a prep center, you should be able to ship it out pretty quick. And then you should get those sales before maybe 20 other sellers finally get in a couple weeks later. So hopefully you can beat the trend, at least sell a bulk of what you purchased. And then if it's still looking good, you can always buy more. You can always buy more.
Yeah. I mean, this is a very high velocity item. So I'm thinking, like I said, if you're in any way early, you can send, you know what I mean? You don't want to buy this with an elevated account. When people start finding it, you wouldn't want to do that at all. We've all seen those charts. But if you're in any way early, you can basically sell as many as you want. I mean, within reason, you know what I'm saying? you know.
Yep.
Because I would be curious to go back real quick and look at data. If it really gives that, we can see historical offers. Yeah, 498. Now, whether this number is 100% right, we really don't know. But I mean, that kind of is close to 26% of 1521. So, I mean, if you bought 50 of these and you send them to the prep center, they're gone. They're gone.
Yep,
I don't. Yeah. So, yeah, I like it. I've been going, like I said, when I see a great opportunity, I'm pushing some chips in. I mean, I'm not seeing anything that's really red flagging me that, you really got to jump on some of these deals, because you go back a day or two later and on that website, they're already sold out or something like that. I've been having that issue lately where I find a great sale. I wanted to push the chips in more. I push the chips in a lot, but then 2 days later, they raised the price by 30%. So no one's getting that deal again. And it was such a moment where I knew it was right. I just didn't go deep enough. And sometimes you can't do everything, but sometimes you kind of know, and it's rough when that sale is gone and you
sell out of your stock in like 2 days and you're like, man, if only I had 30 days of stock,
That Nike sale, they've been raising prices. So a week ago, the items were like $24. I'm thinking of this item. Today it's $42 with no 20% off. And for 2 days there, it's like a hoodie or something. Sell as many as you want. They're all gone. And I'm thinking I bought a lot of them, but I should have bought more. And it's a shame, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. It's hard to predict what could happen, but yeah, this looks like a pretty solid product that, definitely should be pushing the limit a little bit, because we haven't seen any tanking either in the past. So this product should stay pretty steady for the duration of you selling this product.
Yeah, it looks great. I like it.
All right, for a third product, I have a stapler. Pause the video, analyze the data, and determine if you would buy this as inventory for your Amazon business. All right, so we have this Happy Planner hole punch, looking at a 12K rank, which is really solid in basically any category. Arts and crafts category is a pretty slow product total category. So, 12K isn't going to be as good, obviously, as like clothing 12K, but it's saying it sells around 300 times a month. We're getting $8.60 profit, 33% ROI. Based on those numbers, looks pretty decent, but let's double check the Keepa chart, make sure that the numbers check out here. So we're looking at the 3-month range here. So I'm seeing like a low of 47, a high of upwards of $60, but that's when the offer count was pretty low. We did see this peak offer count around 34, 35 sellers, and that's kind of when we bottomed out at that $48, $47. Now that the offer count has dropped back into the 20s, that price seems to be fairly steady at the $50. So one thing we want to double check is, are we going to be losing a ton of money at $47, right? And we're currently at $50. So we got that $25.50 buy cost. I want to just double check. Are we still semi-profitable? Will we make some money if we hit the lowest it's been, in the last 3 months? And it looks like we're still going to make, close to $6, 22% ROI. Not amazing, but it's also not horrible, right? Some products you'll see charts where, like if we were only getting 30% when we were priced at 60, then the 47 is probably pretty risky. You're probably losing money in that sense. But since we're currently at that $50, 49 cents, 34%, almost $9, and then that low still puts us at over 20% ROI. So that information makes me feel pretty good about this. We do see maybe a slight increase from the lowest offer count in the last month or so, but we're nowhere near the high of what we saw. So I'm wondering if a sale happened in this range. A lot of people bought this, and then obviously the price dropped because there's so much supply on this listing. But let's go into the data a little bit just to see, if that, if we're not familiar with the arts and crafts category, maybe we're not 100% sure if that 300 sales a month is valid or not. So let's look at the offers tab and just see if we can get a little bit more information. We'll include historical. We can see a lot of these sellers are prime sellers, and assuming that it's a stapler and we're filming this in August, it's probably a back to school item that, maybe some teachers are purchasing, or at least the velocity is up from, other times of the year. So we can see that some of these sellers have actually sold a decent amount. And the chart looks pretty, the stock history actually looks like normal sales numbers. Sometimes you'll see these big spikes like this, Going from 59 down to 18 is probably not an actual sale. It's probably FC transfer, modifying your stock counts. So we don't want to count that as like sales, but some of these slow drops from 23 to 20 to 19 to 18, that looks like actual sales data. So that's just something to keep, an extra step to keep in mind when you're looking at these stock histories, because we don't just want to take this number here and say, all right, 538 sales, that's exactly how many times this sells a month. The BSR is really going to be your best bet of like what actually sells. And then if you have a Jungle Scout or some tool that can really break down how many times a certain rank sells. But this data is just kind of like an extra, it kind of gives you a little bit more data to help you decide if you want to purchase this or not. We can see that there's multiple sellers that have sold at least 15 to 20 of this product in just the last 30 days. And then, lifetime, a lot of these other sellers have been selling this a little bit longer than a month because, you do the math here. This person's been in stock at least 4 or 5 months of selling over 100 times a month. So good data there. We can see a lot of sellers are getting sales on this, which means the buy box is rotating, which is nice. And a lot of these sellers are selling a lot, which must mean they're finding this profitably like we have here. So maybe this 293 is a little bit of a low estimate. But this is also another product that, seeing that the price is leveled out a little bit, the lowest we go is still over a $5 profit, and the offer count is well below the max that we saw in the last 3 months. Another product that you could probably go pretty deep on. This is definitely a product I would purchase. Again, if we're going to make almost $9 and we can sell upwards of 150 times a month, right? Maybe we're not going to buy 150 off the bat, but we'll probably do a little bit larger test buy if that's the route we're going to go, because we do see a bunch of sellers all selling a good amount here. And we can look at the buy box statistics if we really want to, see what is getting shared. But look at all these other sellers getting buy box share. And even 2% on a listing that sells 500 times a month could still sell you, 20 to 30 sales. And maybe that's all, they're only getting 2% because they ran out of stock and then they lost the buy box share. So there's a lot of reasons why, some of these people aren't getting more, 8 to 17%, because maybe they just ran out of stock and then they lost the buy box. But all of this data here is really pointing towards another product that you could probably go pretty deep on. And again, we can see this velocity. Last year, this time there's data, but a couple of years ago, we don't have a ton of data. So this is kind of the first year where we see that velocity increase during this back to school season. So this is kind of a product you want to probably sell pretty quickly, or at least in the near future. So maybe you could merge fulfill this. It did look like the buy box share was going a lot to FBA sellers, but sure. Again, at the numbers we're seeing here, this is definitely a buy.
Yeah, when I look at it, I'm thinking to myself, I need to be in the staple or hole puncher business. $50 for a hole punch is insane.
Yeah,
but it is absolutely moving. And I mean, I guess it's really high quality. And then, of course, another thing I like about it is now it's an interesting product that I probably wouldn't have found. So now you have a list of people to reverse source. You have a whole nother brand and kind of like category. I've dabbled a little bit in arts and crafts, but it is very popular. Again, you're right. The velocity isn't there, but people love, just to expand real quick, people love, painting, expressing themselves. People really love this stuff. And if you look at like paintbrush prices, paint prices, I mean, it can get really expensive, and you can certainly find these things cheaper. And there's a lot of bundling that goes on in this category. Paintbrushes with the paint set, with the ease, whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah.
This product is definitely one where, if you're not used to this category, you don't source it a ton. I mean, all of these, we have 20 some sellers that you can reverse source and storefront stock, and you just might find a ton of products in this category. And again, it's definitely a less competitive category compared to, the typical clothing, beauty, health, and household. So you might just have a little bit less competition, a little bit less chance of a product completely tanking. I mean, this is a drop, when the offer count shot up, over 30 sellers. But I mean, some Nike products, you see drops from 60 down to like $30. I mean, literally like a 50% drop.
Totally.
Sellers come down. So the less competition in a lesser known category is definitely a plus, and you might just find some other products that most people aren't even looking for. So they're not even going to stumble across it because they're not even searching those types of products. And then you just might have a big list of products that you can find profitably. So,
and for our last product, the one, the only, the quintessential reselling product of 2023 is the Stanley Quencher. So we're going to check out, we got a color, everyone knows this, everyone made bank on this. So let's check this one out. So we have a buy cost of $24. We can see it's going for 45 bucks. It is $6 profit, 25% ROI. It's a little low for my liking with how competitive it is. We can see people are already undercutting it at $41.40. And this is, I believe, the main listing. I mean, look at the estimated sales. It's just insane. 80,000 a month. It is number one in BSR. So we have, like I said, we're not ever really seeing it go crazy with sellers. You're not seeing that. We can go back here. I mean, this thing just absorbs sellers like nothing. So it's a little low for my liking, and some of these people will start undercutting. You're competing with Amazon. I'm not super interested in this one, but what I would like to do here really quick, and again, this whole listing just sells like crazy. We're going to see if any other colors real quick are more than 45. Oh, there's a lot of different stuff. So this is, when you're doing Stanley, if you get a great deal, always make sure they're the right sizes. There's 30 ounces, 35s. And it looks like Amazon's in stock on we got some, nope. So it looks like this is a main one that Amazon's on stock on. So you might not find any too profitable one. I think there's too many. This is not profitable enough for me. I think it is still not bad, but if you want, this is a listing you may want to check back on and see if you can find some, if the profit goes up, or see if you can find this color on a different listing.
Yeah, I would just say also, if we wanted to look at the buy box share, we can see Amazon definitely dominates the buy box statistic share. So it's a little, like, to me, this product, like, yeah, it could work for you and you might be able to sell some, you might get some returns too, but it's more just the risk involved with a product like this. Like, we don't know how many sales we're going to get because Amazon dominates the buy box so much. And the percentage that this variation sells might be a little bit like, ambiguous compared to, the buy box share. And you could do a test buy maybe, but for me, this product's a little bit risky. Like you said, there's other sellers that are a little bit lower, $41. So, like, are the $41 sellers the only ones getting the sale at that, when they're getting their buy box share? And at that price, we're probably not even close to solid profit. So, it's just a little bit too risky for my liking as well. And there's definitely better ways to spend your money.
I think that's the big thing for me is there's a lot better products here to spend your money on. And, there's certainly better Stanley listings. And, I think there's just better use of your money. Now, maybe if it gets closer to Christmas, you find this in store, something like that, you can coupon it a little bit better, they offer some really high Rakuten points that could take into consideration. But just at this, I think you're making this job too hard on yourself. There's a better products, there's simpler stuff, there's better listings, and we want to make this simple. And in my experience, when I start chasing thin margins, it's real easy to get squeezed out. It's really easy to get squeezed out.
A little side note here, at 80,000 sales per month, I mean, at what point does everybody in America, or at least every household in America, have a Stanley Cup and this thing gets taken down from number one BSR? Because, 80,000 a month, there's a lot of people in the US, but that's a crazy amount of sales. But like we said, the risk, the unknown, you could do a test buy, but it's just, for me, a little bit too risky. I'd rather look at other listings with less competition, more value, more velocity on ours that we know we can sell.
I mean, I almost guarantee we could pop open a couple different Stanley listings and find something more profitable for your money. That's the other one. If you look up Stanley, these cups get separated from the main listing, put together to the main listing. So there's you can certainly probably spend your money in a much less riskier way and not get squeezed. I've certainly been squeezed on these. But yeah, it's close. It's really close.
All right, so that was our breakdown of the 4 products. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. You played along and you got all of the same analysis that we got. Bill, thanks for joining the channel today. You want to shout out where they can find your content or how they can connect with you?
I'm mainly on YouTube. I'm on Instagram. And one thing I do want to point out real quick is different products work for different people. There's ways to make a fast nickel, a slow dime. Some of these products may really fit for you. Some of these products don't. So, always keep that open and keep that in mind, So please follow me, follow AC. I really love doing this. I hope to be the third guest on his channel. Really enjoyed it. Everybody have a great day. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. And like I said, if you guys haven't subscribed to our channels, do that now and stay tuned for more videos from both of us.